And Debbie made landfall in Florida earlier this week, and it brought in some torrential rain and flooding along with it. Sarasota saw some of the worst of that. They got about 18 inches of rain in just 3 days. One owner there of a local welding business is now doing all that he can to help his colleague, whose home of nearly 50 years was completely destroyed, along with their personal belongings. Let's bring in Luke the Welder. He's the owner of Adrenaline Artworks Welding and Fabrications in Sarasota. Luke, thanks so much for joining us here. How are things looking now at this point that most of the water there kind of receded?
Thanks so much for having me. A lot of devastation in a lot of different areas, mostly centralized in the middle of the city, along Fruitville, flooding like I've never seen before. I've lived here my whole life, and some people just have so much damage. I can't even imagine being in their shoes. So that day was pretty interesting, and definitely didn't go as I expected it to go. Started off with a phone call. Hey, local business nearby said, we got some kittens that we found in one of our engine bays on one of our loaner vehicles. And I offered to take those kittens to the local shelter. And the flooding was massive at that point. And so I needed gas. So I went to the local gas station. The gas station was completely underwater. At least all the gas pumps were. And that's when I realized, wow, there's a lot more flooding in this area than I thought originally. And after getting gas and after dropping off the kittens, I realized I'm done for the day. I'm just going to spend the rest of the day helping people. Went and grabbed cases of water and started handing them out to some of these people here that had houses underwater in these neighborhoods. And after that, came back to the shop and discussed with one of my local shop mates here that he told me that his house was 4 foot underwater. And I just asked him, would you mind taking me there and showing me the devastation so I can put something together for you? And he was like, yeah, I have nothing left. I mean, everything below 4 foot is gone. Everything. I mean, he even had a safe underwater he couldn't get out that had very sentimental items in there. And so I just decided, you know what, I'm going to start a GoFundMe for him. And so I did. And we haven't raised much money, but I also gave him a generator today. And there's just so many of those situations going on here, and it's very, very sad.
I can only imagine. I can't even fathom the idea of everything in my home being destroyed within a matter of moments. And you talked about this being a place that you grew up. Did you expect this type of flooding, this catastrophic flooding? Have you ever even seen anything to this extent being in this area of Florida?
I lived through Ian, and we had damage to our house further south in Sarasota County. I only just got a new roof from that hurricane 6 months ago, and that was 2 years ago. So I've seen devastation, but I haven't seen the flooding devastation before with my own eyes personally. I've seen a lot of hurricane devastation in Northport, Port Charlotte, like I've never seen before. And but the flooding devastation it ruins everything. Once that water gets in there, most of it's not recoverable, and you have to replace drywall and stuff like that. And so it just breaks my heart to see these hardworking, small mom and pop shop businesses that are barely surviving as it is, storm aside, losing their work trucks, losing their personal effects. That, I mean, he even had a card collection that he was dating back to 1970s and lost that, all of it destroyed. I've never seen anything like it.
I'm sure. Has your friend talked about what's next for him and how he's going to cope with this flooding? Is he going to consider maybe staying in Florida or maybe moving somewhere else?
I have not talked to him as far as that goes. I mean, he's still trying to piece his life together. I gave him a generator this morning, like I said, and he's trying to just start moving stuff out of his house and get some fans going inside the house. And he's staying in a hotel, and that's about the extent of it. He also didn't have flood insurance. And I know somebody else here in this building as well that is in the exact same situation, lives right around the corner from him, had same amount of water in his house, no flood insurance. They had no warning, absolutely no warning whatsoever that this flood was coming. He woke up in the middle of the night, went to get out of bed, put his feet down, and he's already in 6 inches of water. I mean, what can you do? I mean, that water level rose 2 feet within 2 hours. I mean, they're scrambling. I mean, these guys are elderly. that lives with his father who's almost 90 years old, and they couldn't lift the safe. They couldn't lift a lot of the heavy, valuable items to get him out of the way. And I mean, at that point, what can you do? Everything's already underwater. You just kind of got to sit it out.
Yeah.
They were forced to walk through the storm waters, and as a result, his 90-year-old grandfather, or 90-year-old father rather, ended up being hospitalized for a short period of time. Good to hear that he's actually back to work today. But I mean, they should be spending time clearing out their house, but they're doing some of that, but they still have a business to run, and they have to survive, and they don't have flood insurance, and they have to make money. So I've tried to help them with resources, recommending FEMA, and recommending that they, just try to get any resources they can aside from me trying to help them. And I know several people in this exact scenario.
Absolutely. Luke, I'm sure that you are an angel in their book, and we have shown the GoFundMe, so we are hoping that we can get that word out there for you.
Awesome.
We wish you, we wish
really hope
that
so.
family all the best moving forward with their recovery, and we do want to thank you for spending some time here with us at Fox Weather.
Absolutely.
As well.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.